morning, sun's a bit hazy, checking the forecast, things looking crazy. A storm on the horizon, the pressure is low, gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's do this thing, guys. Let's kick this can right now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome to our show today, guys. We're going to talk about quite a few things tonight, so I hope you guys are ready to stay here and pick up on it. Okay? We're going to talk about a lot of things. I see Juanito is here from El Centro, California. Juanito, yesterday we talked all about earthquakes in Southern and Northern California, and I said last night that there were 48 3.0 and larger earthquakes in El Centro yesterday. 48 earthquakes in El Centro yesterday were 3.0 and larger. Those are small earthquakes and larger yesterday. 48 of them. Today I shouldn't say here because I don't live in California any longer, but in California right now, we have all kinds of earthquakes still happening. And in fact, I'm going to tell you this. Get ready, guys. Get ready, because California is going to be turned upside down pretty soon. Okay? In Northern California today. Let me bring up the USGS map and let's talk about Northern California real quick here. Okay? This is important. This is very important, guys. Things have happened in Northern California today as well. Okay? I'm going to take down the EMA banner. I'm going to take down a webcam right now. I want to show you what has happened in the area of Northern California today. This is very, very important, guys. Very, very important. Okay? Now, Okay, I'm showing south of Mindanao, Philippines, which is the largest island of the Philippines. Today, south of Mindanao, they had a 5.3 earthquake, and off to the other southeastern side of Mindanao, Philippines, we had a large 5.1 earthquake. Let's go over to California now. Go way across the ocean to California, right here. Okay. As you can see in Southern California, there are a lot of earthquakes. Over here in the Imperial Valley, again, out in the middle of the Salton Sea here, there's a 1.1 tremor here. Again, USGS wrongly identifies this as near Bombay Beach. About 9 kilometers, about 5 miles west-southwest of Bombay Beach. It's not. Bombay Beach is way over here. Way over here. If anything, they should identify this earthquake as being in the center of the Salton Sea or north of the Salton Butte volcano, which is right there. The Salton Butte volcano is right there, guys, underneath the water in the southern part of the Salton Sea. And here we have an earthquake, a 1.1 tremor here in the center of the Salton Sea, neither near Bombay Beach and neither near the landmass on the southern side of the Salton Sea here. But there are other earthquakes as well, okay? Yesterday, I showed you a sidegram coming from Calipatria, California, right here. There were 150 earthquakes here in the Calipatria region here that the Calipatria seismograph records the images of. I showed you 150 earthquakes here yesterday. There's more today. There's more today. And in fact, like I said, over here in El Centro here, right here in El Centro, there are 48 3.0 large earthquakes. 48 of them. Juanito's saying in the chat, we're just waiting for the shaking. Don't want it, but it's going to happen. I understand that, Juanito. It's going to happen. I'm very sorry about that. But guys, there's going to be a much larger earthquake coming here very soon. Very, very soon. This area, especially here in Southern California, is going to experience a 7.5 to an 8.5 earthquake. A 7.5 to an 8.5 earthquake. And USGS is not even showing all the earthquakes here yet. They may do it sooner or later, but they're not doing it yet. They used to show earthquakes here all the time, but they haven't done it in years. Literally years. They're showing a brand new earthquake over here, this near Ocotillo Wells. It's a 1.0 tremor here near Ocotillo Wells, okay, in the Imperial Valley. This whole area from way up here to the north of the Salton Sea here is part of the Imperial Valley here, all the way south to the US-Mexican border down here, right here. This is where the Imperial Valley ends here, at the US-Mexico border. Okay, all kinds of earthquakes here, USGS not even showing. There are a bunch of earthquakes here in San Diego County, USGS is not showing. They're showing one just north of the border here in Bonita, California. My cousins live here in Bonita, California, guys. This is a 1.3 tremor, and although it's very tiny, nobody felt it. Nobody felt it at all. But my cousins live here in Bonita, California. Okay? I'm surprised USGS is even showing this here. There are all kinds of earthquakes here in Los Angeles and right here, La Brea, California. La Brea, California. They don't show earthquakes in Anaheim. They're not showing any earthquakes over here in Long Beach. They're showing this 2.0 minor earthquake here in La Brea, California. In La Brea, California, guys. USGS is saying it's 2 kilometers, 1 mile northeast of La Brea. It's in La Brea. This 2.0 minor earthquake, nobody felt it. It's too small. It happened in La Brea, California today. Okay? Let's go north here. Okay? I want to talk about earthquakes that happen here in the San Francisco area today. Okay, right here. Right here, guys. San Leandro, California. San Leandro, California. Okay, we had a 4.0 earthquake here today. A 4.0 moderate earthquake here today. USGS is saying they are light earthquakes. They're not light earthquakes at all. 4.0 moderate earthquake here in La Brea, California, on the Hayward Fault. I repeat, it was on the Hayward Fault. This earthquake I'm showing you here, right here, it's a 2.2 minor earthquake. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake. This is a 3.0 minor earthquake, or a small earthquake. This is a 1.2 tremor. This is a 2.8 minor earthquake here. And this is a 3.8 earthquake. Okay? This 3.8 was downgraded to that after the 4.0 hit. Again, USGS downgrades earthquakes sometimes to the nearest 0.9, so they don't want to have to admit that this was a 4.0 earthquake. In this case, they downgrade to 3.8. This earthquake was felt all over the San Francisco Bay Area. Literally all over the San Francisco Bay Area, guys. Okay? I got that from news service here in San Francisco. Okay? I got that from Fox News in San Francisco. It was first put out as a 4.1 earthquake. 4.1 earthquake. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to let them tell you about the earthquake. Then we'll talk more about these earthquakes in San Francisco Bay and south of San Francisco as well. Okay? Let me let them tell you about this earthquake. And again, I want to tell you this is important. So please hang in there with me, guys. It's very important we talk about this.
ED happens.
Sorry about that. I can't let the commercial go on the air here.
Fox 2 San Francisco team, and Gase, you actually felt the earthquake inside your own building.
Absolutely. So we're sort of right in the middle of a very busy morning newscast here at KTVU Fox 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was here with the team at Fox Local San Francisco. We were sort of doing our big planning for the day so we can do sort of the local version of what you guys get to do all day long there at Live Now. And it was our producer, Megan, who first kind of looked up with that panic look in her eyes. She goes, "You guys, it's an earthquake." And then Carlos, another producer, and I thought, yeah, it is. Carlos and I grew up here in the Bay Area, no stranger to earthquakes. And so just to break it down, a 4.1, according to the USGS, is considered a light earthquake. It is just edged into that category because of the 4.1. If it was anything, a 3.9 or below would be considered minor. USGS says something along the lines of a 4.1. You'd see noticeable indoor shaking, some rattling of doors and windows, generally no structural damage, and 100%, that's what we felt here in the Fox 2 newsroom. We all sort of looked around. It felt quick because by the time we'd all sort of verbally confirmed that we were feeling an earthquake, it was over. Sometimes here in the Bay Area, and even if we just go back 6 months or so, we have had earthquakes about the same magnitude, but they seem to last forever when you talk to folks who experience them. They might mention a rolling motion, sort of a sharp jolt. This morning's earthquake, at least by what we felt, was very quick. And at this point, you know, you've been in a newsroom, right, Stephanie? And the phone lines just light up as soon as something big happens. So we started to hear the phones ringing, people calling in and asking, was that an earthquake? At this point, we haven't received any reports of damage, which again, totally squares with what the USGS says is expected for an earthquake this size. Just to give folks at home a better understanding of where Oakland and San Leandro are, because this 4.1 was right on the boundary of Oakland and San Leandro. You've probably heard of Oakland. We're across the bay from San Francisco. So as the crow flies, maybe 10 miles or so from the big city. San Leandro is a much smaller city, but right next door to Oakland, and the earthquake was centered pretty much right on that boundary. But again, it was sort of a quick wake-up call for us. Happened at 8:30 our time this morning. A lot of folks waking up, getting their kids off to school. School is beginning to start here in the Bay and around the country. So, I like to say it's not nothing, right? A 4.1, definitely we felt it. We all got texts from our spouses. We all live here in the Bay Area. And so our better halves were all weighing in. We felt it a lot, didn't feel it much. So just a little early morning wake-up call from Mother Nature here around 8:30 our time in the San Francisco Bay Area, Stephanie.
Okay. The report goes on here for about another 10 minutes or so. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you heard it happen here in Los Angeles, all over the LA Valley. Okay? It's felt all over, well, not LA, I'm sorry, all over San Francisco area, the San Francisco Bay Area, throughout the entire Bay Area, guys. I believe this probably was a much larger earthquake. Okay? Probably a much larger earthquake. Again, USBS downgrade to 3.8, and now I believe they may have downgraded also to a 3.7. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying. Lisa's here in the chat. She said, in Southern California, I have felt a drift similar to vertigo over a week. I imagine we're floating on magma or water. Lisa, you may be floating on magma. I don't know where you live in Southern California. If you're in Los Angeles or even in San Diego or out in the Imperial Valley, there's magma out there, guys. There's magma there. Okay? We put our webcam back up. I'm sorry about that. Okay, there's magma out there. There's magma coming off the Pacific plate where the Pacific Ocean is. Magma's underneath the Pacific Ocean under the plate or in the plate, and it's coming into the North American plate, and it's coming through Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego. It comes into San Diego and goes over into the Imperial Valley under the mountains there, all underground, guys, all underground, because there's no volcano in San Diego itself. There is a volcano underneath the southern part of the Salton Sea. It's called the Salton Butte volcano. I've shown you in the past seismograms that show lines going up and down like this. That's magma beneath the ground that the seismograph is picking up, showing you the waves going through the ground. Those are what they call VLF waves going through the ground. Those waves are going to the volcano. That magma is headed to the volcano, guys. That's what happens here. That's what happens here. All of the volcanoes around the world are recharging. All of the volcanoes are recharging. Lisa asking if we can put up the captions. Lisa, if you are on YouTube here, which I believe you are, you can go over and click on some help notes on the video itself, and we'll say captions there, and you can click on and open up captions there for yourself. I can't put them up. I've already done that, and YouTube doesn't pay attention to me at all. They don't like me for whatever reason. I don't even care. YouTube doesn't like me. I'm going to have a video coming out probably in the next week or so I'm going to be talking about just that. All about how YouTube is trying to sabotage this channel. Okay? So look for that. Look for that, guys. Okay? Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that right now. What I want to talk about right now before we get to the earthquakes and volcanoes in the Pacific Northwest, I want to talk about what happened in court in Provo, Utah yesterday. I want to talk about what happened in court in Provo, Utah yesterday. Okay? There's a man being charged with Charlie Kirks' murder. Being charged with Charlie Kirks' murder in Provo, Utah. Okay? This man is an evil man, a very evil man. His name is Tyler Robinson, right there. Tyler Robinson is an evil man. Okay? I'm going to talk about it again in just a second. Okay? I've got a picture of Charlie Kirk here I'm going to put up as well. You guys all probably know who Charlie Kirk is. I'm going to show it to you again right there. September 2025. I think it was September 9th, 2025. Charlie Kirk was killed by this man. Killed by this man, guys. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm a former police officer. I was an investigator. Nobody can prove to me, beyond any shadow of a doubt, because I've gone through the evidence myself, that Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. Nobody can even put up that evidence. Okay? Let's talk about it real quick here. I'm not going to spend a long time talking about this. Okay? A single shot last September fired at Charlie Kirk. His defense team is saying that Tyler Robinson did not create a great risk of death to others. Figure that out. His defense team is arguing that he did not create a great risk of death to others, telling prosecutors the prosecutors haven't presented enough evidence to make Robinson eligible for the death penalty. They say prosecutors cannot seek the death penalty for Tyler Robinson because the prosecution failed to show that he knew that he would put others in danger when he allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. Okay? That is a key element in court, legal key element, needed to charge him with aggravated murder. Aggravated murder would put him up for the death penalty. Now, with that said, what the defense team did yesterday, they basically admitted that Tyler Robinson unalived Charlie Kirk. They literally admitted that Charlie Kirk was killed by Robinson. Okay? The defense attorneys say that the Utah County Attorney's Office, the prosecutors, wholly failed to carry its burden of proof during a week-long July preliminary hearing, where they presented evidence that they say tied Robinson to the crime. In a brief filed last night, Tuesday night, Robinson attorneys argued prosecutors presented no evidence whatsoever that he knew that his alleged actions would create a great risk of death to anyone besides Kirk. Figure that out. They basically admitted that Robinson did it, but they're saying that Robinson did not present a great risk of death to anyone besides Kirk. That allegation is what prosecutors are relying on to make the case eligible for the death penalty. Now, given this, okay, I want to put this out, no matter where you are here in the United States, and even Utah, not every homicide in Utah is a capital crime. Prosecutors must show the killing was especially egregious and proved beyond a shadow of a doubt was called an aggravating factor. In Kirk's murder, prosecutors argued the aggravating factor was that Robinson put others at risk of death when he allegedly used his grandfather's rifle to fire a single shot from atop a Utah Valley University building on September 10th toward a crowd of thousands who were gathered for Kirk's Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University. The bullet that struck Kirk in the neck was fired from Tyler Robinson's gun. The defense is basically saying that he did it. Robinson's defense team wrote that prosecutors need to show more than just a possibility that someone else could have been hurt that day, arguing they must instead show there was a high probability that the defendant knew it. Tyler Robinson knew it. They're asking 4th District Judge Tony Graff to strike the aggravating factor which makes Robinson ineligible to face a death penalty if he is convicted. Video was played to the judge in July, showing the moments before the shooting when a man was asking Kirk a question from the crowd. The question was not in the line of fire. The question was not in the line of fire. The defense attorneys wrote there was no one immediately behind the pop-up tent that Kirk had been sitting in. No one behind the pop-up tent that Kirk was sitting in. And given that Kirk was seated on an elevated platform and struck in the neck, the bullet traveled above the crowd, not through the crowd, but above the crowd, but not through it. That in and of itself right now is what the attorneys are asking, to tell the judge to ignore the fact that the bullet was not fired through the crowd. Lisa, thank you for that $20 super chat. I'm giving you an EMA sticker for your super chat. I'm giving you a thumbs up as well. Thank you for that super chat, guys. We appreciate it. Anything you do, guys, to help us keep us on the air would be greatly appreciated. Everything you do to help us keep us on the air would be greatly appreciated. All super chats are very much appreciated, guys. Please give us super chats. Jazzers is also here. Thank you for being here, Jazzers. Thank everybody for being here. We appreciate it. Okay? Now, just briefly, before I go on with this line of talk here, we're giving you this narrative that I'm telling you. I want to ask all of you that are here that may not have been here before this, please give us a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel and then share this channel with everybody that you know. Share this program with everybody you know. Your family, your extended family, the people you work with, the people you associate with on social media with, your neighbors and friends as well. Please do that. This message needs to go out to everybody. This message needs to go out to everybody. I thank everybody that's here with us today. Whether you're in the chat or not, I thank everybody for being here. Okay? Now again, the video was played before the judge in July. Showed that the bullet went above the crowd, and into the side of Charlie Kirk's neck. And the defense attorneys are saying there was nobody behind the curtain in the back of the tent. Charlie Kirk didn't know it. Charlie Kirk didn't know that there's not going to be anybody behind the tent. The bullet that struck and killed Charlie Kirk, they say, was not fired in an enclosed bedroom or a space, but rather an open-air arena with what the state's witnesses termed a clear line of sight. The defense attorneys are saying that Robinson fired that round with a clear line of sight. There was no one behind the tent. Mr. Kirk was struck with the bullet. Nobody else was even in the way of the bullet. Multiple shots were not fired. Only one shot. There were no ricocheting bullets. Prosecutors previously argued that evidence showed that Robinson was ready to keep firing because he had 3 other rounds in the chamber of the firearm. 3 or more bullets were in the chamber of the rifle that he did not fire. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray wrote in an earlier filing that Robinson disassembled the rifle in order to hide it in his pants as he walked through the campus. That action could have affected his firing accuracy, a factor the Gray argued Robinson likely knew because reassembling it, he would risk any previous setup he did to calibrate the rifle in the scope. When Robinson laid flat on that roof in back of the crowd that day on the Utah Valley University building, he reassembled that rifle, and anything he did to adjust the scope and the rifle itself, that round could have been anywhere. That round could have been anywhere. It could have hit somebody in the crowd as well. Okay? But his defense team is saying that that round that Tyler Robinson fired was meant only for Charlie Kirk and was fired above the crowd. When prosecutors filed for aggravated murder and other charges last September, they also filed a victim targeting enhancement, which could increase the penalties for Robinson if he's convicted. They've argued that Robinson targeted Kirk because the man represented a political movement opposed to gay marriage and transgender rights, which is true. Charlie Kirk always argued against gay marriage and transgender rights. They argued those beliefs stood in stark contrast to Tyler Robinson's personal life, where he was in a romantic relationship with his roommate, Lance Twiggs, who at the time was exploring whether to transgender or transition gender. Lance Twiggs, his romantic partner, was weighing the option of transitioning genders. Robinson attorneys attacked this assertion in their latest filing, saying the only piece of evidence may show that Robinson's motivation was a text to Twiggs where he wrote about Charlie Kirk after the shooting, quote, "I had enough of his hatred." That was one of the text messages that Robinson sent to Twiggs after he shot Charlie Kirk. "I had enough of his hatred," unquote. But the defense team argued that the prosecutors didn't show that his relationship or his partner's potential transition motivated the killing. Unreal. Robinson's defense has asked Graff to dismiss several charges, saying that he should not face a witness tampering charge for allegedly texting Twiggs, quote, to ask for an attorney and to stay silent. He told his romantic partner Twiggs to ask for an attorney to stay silent if the police ask him questions. Quote, "Make sure the police follow the right procedures," unquote. Proper warrants and stuff. Be polite and respectful, of course, unquote. Robinson's attorneys also argued that he should not face a charge alleging that he knew that a child under the age of 14 would be present and witness Charlie Kirk's death. Okay? They're alleging that Robinson knew that a child under the age of 14 would be present. Okay? That was not out of the realm of possibility. Robinson didn't know that any younger children would be there. Parents of children were there, and they could have had their children with them. That evidence may come out later in this trial. The count of violent offense committed in the presence of a child is a Class A misdemeanor, and if he were convicted, could be used to enhance the death sentence. Okay, if Robinson is convicted, the fact that a possibility the younger child under the age of 18 had been in that assembly of people Tyler Robinson didn't know if he was or if he wasn't. But even if that happened, if prosecutors can show that there was younger children in that assembly of people, the act of that happening could enhance Robinson's sentence. The arguments that his defense team put forward yesterday come as Judge Graff is weighing whether the prosecutors have shown that there's enough evidence for the case to move forward. Allegedly, there was. Otherwise, the prosecutor or the defense attorneys would not have said what they said yesterday. Again, the defense attorneys in Robinson's case basically admitted that Robinson did it, which proves there is enough evidence for conviction. There is enough evidence for this trial to go forward. The attorneys will argue in court on September 1st. Then Graff, the judge, will likely issue written ruling later. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Okay? This is a very sad situation. Very sad situation. I watched it when it went down. Very sad. Aubrey, welcome here. We appreciate you being here. Heidi, we also welcome you here. Thank you for being here. Okay? Before I went on my rant about Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson, we talked about a 4.1 earthquake that happened in the San Francisco Bay Area in San Leandro, California, on the west side of the bay, on the western side of the bay. Let's go over back to the USGS map for a minute. I want to talk about earthquakes here, guys. I want to talk about earthquakes. Then we're going to Cascadia. That's the main focus of our program today, is Cascadia. I'm going to take down my webcam right now for just a few minutes. Look at this, guys. That 4.1 earthquake that hit in the San Francisco Bay Area this morning at about 8:30. At about 8:30 this morning. Okay? Hit on the Hayward Fault. On the Hayward Fault, guys. No joke. No joke. This earthquake, the 4.1 earthquake, hit 8:30 this morning. It's been downgraded to 3.8 earthquake by the USGS. San Leandro, California, on the Hayward Fault. The Hayward Fault is the eastmost fault on the western or on the east side of the San Francisco Bay. Oakland is just to the north of San Leandro, and north of that is Berkeley, California. Earlier this year, we had a 4.5 in Berkeley, California, also on the Hayward Fault. I also need to tell you this. That earthquake, that 4.5 earthquake hit over here, over right here. Is this it? It hit in Berkeley, guys, and it hit in the stadium. There's a football stadium here in Berkeley. They had a 4.5 earthquake that hit here earlier this year. I think it was in January this year. I'm having trouble finding that football stadium here. I found it here before. I'm having a hard time finding it now. We found the University of Berkeley right there, but I don't see the football stadium here at the University of California, Berkeley. I know it's there. I've seen it here before. But it doesn't matter. 4.5 earthquake hit there earlier this year. Okay? All kinds of earthquakes have hit on the Hayward Fault, including the October 1989 Bay Area earthquake that took out the San Francisco Bay Area Bridge. The San Francisco Bay Bridge. 6.9 earthquake, guys. 6.9 earthquake took out the bridge. It caused all kinds of buildings to pancake here in the San Francisco Bay Area. It leveled buildings, it caused fires and all kinds of destruction. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it caused $1 billion of destruction here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it hasn't happened since. It's overdue to happen again. We're going to have another earthquake like that again. Okay? Right here on the western side of San Francisco Bay. This is where the San Andreas Fault is. Okay? The San Andreas Fault right here is locked and loaded as well. Just like it's locked and loaded in Southern California. When this fault gives up, doesn't matter whether these other faults here, either the Hayward or over here to the east, the Calaveras Fault here, doesn't matter whether those faults go off, but when the San Andreas Fault goes, it could also ignite the other faults here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Just like when it goes down in Southern California on the southeast side of Los Angeles or down in Imperial Valley, it's going to set off all the other earthquake faults around the area. It's going to happen. It's going to cause all kinds of major mass destruction. All kinds of it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen again. Okay? Every day, the Bay Area residents face that potential for the earthquake. They know it's going to happen. But again, everybody's saying, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. But they know darn well that the earthquake is coming. Up here north of San Francisco Bay, also another earthquake right here. This is Penn Grove, California. 1.2 tremor here. 1.2 tremor here. Now, the rest of this program is going to be concentrating on the Cascadia earthquake. The Cascadia earthquakes are happening. They're happening right now. No, we have not had an 8.0, 9.0, 10.0 magnitude earthquake, but we've had earthquakes up and down the entire coast area of Northern California, all the way up to Vancouver, Canada. All the way up to and including Vancouver Island, Canada. All over Vancouver, British Columbia. Earthquakes keep hitting here every day. Tremors, minor earthquakes and small earthquakes hit here every day. Those are only premonitions of exactly what's going to happen. I call them premonitions because they are what's going to happen. They are leading to the big earthquake. Earthquakes that are happening right here, right now, are leading to the big earthquake. Arnold, thank you for being here, guy. Appreciate you very much. Appreciate you a lot. Okay? Earthquakes keep happening here. And they're going to continue here for a very long time. Okay? USGS is not even showing all the earthquakes here at all. I'm going to show you some seismographs, which are the computer readouts from the seismograph itself, showing you earthquakes here in this area, Washington and Oregon. Here in the, here in the Olympic Peninsula right here. This is Tracyton, Washington. 1.3 tremor. Right here, right now, in the Puget Sound. A tremor. There's more than just a tremor here. More than just a tremor here. This one south of there right here, they're saying is 0.7 microquake. Guys, there are all kinds of tremors and microquakes throughout this area. All kinds of them. But again, they're not showing those either. Over here to the east, right here, far north of Mount Rainier, there's 1.5 tremor here. And Palouse to Cascade State Park Trail, 1.5 tremor here. Where are the other tremors and earthquakes? Where? They're happening. But again, the agency doesn't want to show it to us. The agency doesn't want to show it to us. All kinds of earthquakes and tremors here at Mount Rainier. But all USGS wants to show us is a microquake south of Mount Rainier. Crazy guys. South of Mount Rainier, 5 miles south of Mount Rainier, southwest of Packwood, Washington. Southwest of Packwood, Washington. They're not even saying this earthquake, this microquake, is south of Mount Rainier. They never ever, even when there's some event happening at one of the volcanoes, they never ever identify that event at the volcano itself. They can put a dot on the volcano, they can do whatever they want, but they never ever mention the volcano itself. Ever. They're not showing anything happening here at Mount St. Helens as well. They're not showing anything here at Mount Adams. Things happening here as well. They're not showing it. However, they want to tell us about something that's going on here near Coloma, Washington. Let me enlarge this and show you where it's at. Okay? Right here. They say this is an explosion. 3 kilometers, a mile and a half, southwest of Coloma, Washington. That's interesting. That's in itself interesting. Look where this supposed event happened, where this supposed explosion happened. Right out here in the middle of a forested region. Right out here in the middle of nowhere in the forested region. Guys, this was not an explosion. USGS is calling this an explosion. It was not an explosion at all. Not at all. It never has been. Never has been. How about this? A spontaneous combustion carnivorous, an exploding tree. Maybe there's a marmot here. Maybe there's a marmot that lit this tree on fire, or had some way of causing an explosion to a tree here. That makes about as much sense as them calling this an explosion. There's no farms. This is a forested area. Okay? There's no farms. This is a forested area. Yet the USPS wants us to call this an explosion. It's not. Not even. Not even. Okay? It's incredible what they get away with here. Okay? Right here. There's a highway right here, Interstate 5. This is a river. I believe this is the Columbia River, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? And yet they're trying to say there's an explosion here. Guess what? This supposed explosion was a quarter of a mile deep. Quarter of a mile deep. Okay? There's other explosions in this broadcast as well. Okay? Explosions that are a half mile deep. Half mile deep, guys. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, earthquakes around the world, guys, we have some. We have some. Over here in Pakistan here. Pakistan. Large earthquake here, guys. 5.1 earthquake here in Pakistan. .1 earthquake and an aftershock as well. A 4.3 moderate aftershock. Okay? Large earthquakes here, guys. Large earthquakes. As I pointed out at the beginning of this program, a 5.3 earthquake south of Serengeti, Philippines here, an aftershock. An aftershock of a 7.4 earthquake that hit here just on the southern side, southwest side of Mindanao, Philippines here about a little over a month ago. A little over a month ago. 5.3 earthquake here. A 5.1 earthquake over here on the southwest side of Mindanao, Philippines. Mindanao, Philippines is the largest island in the southern part of the Philippines. Okay? However, there's another large earthquake here. 5.0 earthquake here. Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea. This area here is a flat meadow-like area. Not in the mountainous region, but in a flattened out meadow-like area. This area, guys, has old rock. 5.0 earthquake here, just west of the fault zone, just west of a tectonic plate. That's a tectonic plate, guys. 5.0 earthquake here. Anybody here in this region here felt this earthquake? They felt it. Again, I want to emphasize this. The people living here in Papua New Guinea don't make much money. Maybe $300 a year. They live very, very meagerly. They live by selling vegetables and stuff that they raise on the plots of land they're on. They're very meager themselves. They live basically in huts, wood and cardboard huts, with nothing more than a tarp over their huts to keep out the weather. Today, a 5.0 earthquake interrupted their lifetime, interrupted their life. Okay? Scrolling back out. Over in Fiji, 222 kilometers east-northeast of Labuka, Fiji, we have a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. 4.3 moderate earthquake. southeast of there in the Kermadec Islands. This is the largest earthquake of the day around the world. A 5.6 earthquake hit down here in the Kermadec Islands of New Zealand. The Kermadec Islands here are unoccupied islands. Nobody lives here, only birds. It's a bird sanctuary. This 5.6 earthquake hit here. Nobody even felt it except the birds, maybe. Okay? Then further up here to the north, this time in El Salvador. El Salvador, guys. This was a 5.5 magnitude earthquake. 5.5 large earthquake. Just offshore from El Salvador here. Now this is on the Cocos Plate here. On the Cocos Plate. Okay? The Cocos Plate is subducting under the North American Plate here. Okay? That subduction caused this earthquake. That plate subduction caused this earthquake. Okay? Even though this quake was down here, about 56 kilometers deep, still a shallow earthquake. People in El Salvador felt this earthquake. People in Nicaragua may have felt this earthquake as well. And even people in southern Guatemala may have felt this earthquake as well. They probably didn't feel the full brunt of the 5.5 very strong earthquake, but they did feel some shaking. They did feel some shaking here. This earthquake was 69 kilometers offshore. Offshore from Chitulagua, El Salvador. This is the second largest earthquake around the globe. Now, I'm going to go way up north here. Way up north here. See that earthquake up here? This is in the Greenland Sea here. This earthquake is in the Greenland Sea. It's a 4.7 earthquake here. On that same fault coming out of the Atlantic Ocean up here in the Greenland Sea, that same fault line is expanding up here as well. Okay, I talked about this before. 4.7 earthquake was caused by the expansion of the Mid-Atlantic Fault. Here's in the Greenland Sea. It's expanding, guys. It is expanding. There's a reason it is expanding. There is a reason that it is expanding. Let me bring up our webcam again. I want to show you this. Again, this is important to understand. That fault line here is pushing Scandinavia and also Africa and Europe in an easterly direction. On the same token, this Mid-Atlantic fault is pushing Greenland, North American continent, Canada, the United States, and Mexico in a southwesterly direction like this. That's why we have these earthquakes here. The expansion of the Mid-Atlantic plate is causing these earthquakes. And as I showed you yesterday, I showed you earthquakes here along the Atlantic coast of the United States. Those earthquakes are also caused by the expansion of the Mid-Atlantic plate, putting pressure on the North American continent, putting more pressure on the Eastern Continental Divide, and also putting pressure on what else? What else is it putting pressure on, guys? Right here. They've taken it down. They took the blasted thing down. Over here in Missouri, Marsh, Missouri, there's a 2.2 magnitude earthquake here, a minor 2.2 magnitude earthquake here that happened today. USGS took it down. Maybe they knew I was going to talk about it. Maybe they knew I was going to talk about it, because I want to show you this. I want to show you something else, guys. Look at this. This is a seismogram, the computer readout from the seismograph showing that 2.2 earthquake here. There it is on the seismograph, showing you exactly what happened. Showing you exactly what happened. Guess what? It's not the only thing that happened there. Let's look at this afternoon. Just after 2 p.m., we see a long duration tremor activity going on. Long duration tremor activity. The tremor started at 2 p.m. and it outlasted all up until 13 minutes later. 13 minutes later. Okay? 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremor here. 13 minutes long. Marston, Missouri. Again, USGS doesn't want to admit that anything's going on here, but there is. There's most definitely something going on here. Let me show you Portisville, Missouri this morning, right here. What's going on here, guys? Let me enlarge this so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay? They're only showing us this seismogram from last night. Showing us activity from 4 p.m. on. Actually from noon, top line here is noon. Bottom line here is 1800, which is 6 p.m. here. This is today. Okay. From noon here, this afternoon, look what's happened here. About 1:40 p.m. this afternoon on the blue line, we had a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. The next earthquake happened at just after 12:49. See, 7:48:49. 12:49 p.m. this afternoon. Another 2.9 earthquake here. Multiple 2.9 earthquakes here. This time, Portisville, Missouri. The next earthquake happened at just after 2 p.m., right before 2:01. 2.7 earthquake there. Then we come across this black line here, at 2 p.m. on the left-hand side, 2:02, 2:03, 2:04, 2:05, almost 2:06. Another 2.8 earthquake here. Another 2.8 earthquake. Then we come across this line to the right until we get over here at 2:13 p.m. 2.7 earthquake hit there. On the next green line over on the left-hand side, it is 2:45. But over here on the right-hand side, guess where we're at? 2:51 p.m. this afternoon. This time, guys, there is a 3.5 earthquake here. A 3.5 earthquake. It's showing here that the top of this sequence was cut off and the bottom of this sequence was also cut off. Right now, this is at a 3.3 status. So this was at least a 3.5 small earthquake. 3.5 small earthquake here. Portage, Missouri this afternoon. The next earthquake is after 3 p.m. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3:07 p.m. we have a 2.6 earthquake there. After the next earthquake is over here on the blue line. On the left, it's 3:30. Over here, we're talking about 3:41. 2.5, 2.6. Nearly 2 minutes later, 2:40 or 3:43 p.m. 2.5 earthquake. The next one happened here after 3:45 on the green line. We go over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, 3:50 p.m. this afternoon. A 3.2, 3.3 small earthquake here as well. Okay? In Missouri. And I just showed you the map. They're not showing it on the map at all. The next earthquake that hit here is after 4 p.m. 4:30 p.m. actually. Come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines over. Okay? 4:43 p.m. or nearly 4:43 p.m. Again, this is another 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 small earthquake here. Portage, Missouri. Earthquakes that USGS didn't even show us yet. They still have that opportunity if they take it. If they take it, but they haven't taken it. That's pretty darn sad. Then I want to go over to Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee, this morning. Again, this diagram is showing you the earthquakes and tremors that happened in Memphis, Tennessee on the eastern side of the Mississippi River, which is also the New Madrid Fault. What you've seen are tremors and minor earthquakes, but here in the on the screen line this morning is a full-blown earthquake. Full-blown earthquake here. This earthquake happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9:50 a.m. this morning. 3.0 earthquake here. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee had also a 2.9 earthquake here. After 10:40, actually no, after 10:37 a.m. this morning. 10:37 a.m. this morning. And then a lot of tremors as well. Okay? The New Madrid Fault is alive and well. Alive and well. What else happened here today on the New Madrid Fault? I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but I want to show you this. North of Memphis is a place called Ridgely, Tennessee. Ridgely, Tennessee, guys, right here, this afternoon. This afternoon here. Look what we have here. Okay. 1:30 this afternoon on the blue line on the left-hand side. We come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. At 1:05 p.m. this afternoon, we have a bunch of tremors building up to 2.0 and then a 2.5 earthquake. But a minute later, we have a 3.0 earthquake, multiple 3.0 earthquakes back to back here. Then after 1:45 this afternoon on the left-hand side, we come across here to the right. Okay. About 1:54 p.m., we have another 3.2 earthquake, multiple back-to-back earthquakes here, primary earthquakes, 3.0 earthquakes here. Then it drops down the tremors for about 50 seconds. Then we have multiple minor earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes here. Then it drops down to tiny tremors here. Builds up to 2.5, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. Drops down to tremors again. Then right before 2 p.m., all of a sudden we have 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. And this seismic energy continues over here until 2 p.m. Just after 2 p.m., we have 3.0 earthquake here. From 2.9, 3.0 to 3.0 earthquake here. 3.0 earthquakes happen for about 5 seconds. Then it drops down to 2.8, 2.7, 2.0, and back down to tremors after that. Ridgely, Tennessee. Then we go up to northern Tennessee here. On the eastern side of the Mississippi River, on the eastern side of the Pneumatic Fault, what are we going to see here? Ridgely, Tennessee, guys. The top line here is 12 midnight. As I said before, when the seismologists leave work and go home, they turn down the seismograph. So it's not going to have to record anything they don't want us to see. When they come back in, they turn it back up. It's obvious because that's when we see more earthquakes and tremors happening. What happened here later this morning? Let's look at it. Especially after 7 a.m. More and more tremors happen. What happened after 8 a.m.? More tremors here on the black line. But over here on the right, just after 8:13 a.m. this morning, we had a 2.5 earthquake hit here. Tiptonville, Tennessee here. Tiptonville, Tennessee. Then on the next line, which is the red line. On the left-hand side of that red line, it's 8:15. We come over here to about 2 minutes later. We have some tremors building up to minor earthquakes. 8:18 this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Dies down to minor tremors, maybe 1.7, 1.8. Then again, another 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Drops down to minor earthquakes and a couple of tremors. Then right back up to at least a 2.5, 2.6. What happens after that? We don't see much on the blue line, which is 8:30, but on the next green line, we do. The next green line at about 8:50 a.m. this morning, we start seeing 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes again. Those earthquakes continue for about 5 to 6 minutes. That leads us to 9 a.m. this morning. on the black line. The left side of the black line is obscured by earthquakes after it. Okay, but we can still see seismic energy building here as well. 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes. Get over here to about 5 minutes later. 2.5, 2.7, 2.0, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.7 tremors. We get over here to about 8, about 8:54 a.m. this morning on the green line. 2.9 earthquake. 2.9 minor earthquake. And you can still see activity after that. It's kind of covered up by the other lines here, by the black line after that, which is 9 a.m. Seismic energy keeps hitting here. Then what happens after 9:15 on the red line? All of a sudden, we can clearly see 3.0 small earthquakes hitting here. That 3.0 sequence keeps going for at least 3 to 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes. Then dies down to minor earthquakes, then tremors and picks up to minor earthquakes and tremors again. Over and over. On the next black line here, 10 a.m. On the right-hand side, this is about 10:10 a.m. this morning, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 earthquakes. Going further over here to 10:13, 2.6, 2.7, 2.0, 2.2, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. Then after 10:15 again, more and more seismic activity here. I believe we had minor 2.5, 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here. Yes, 3.5 small earthquakes here. And this earthquake energy keeps hitting for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of 3.0 activity here. 3.0 activity is small earthquakes, enough to make your bed crawl across the floor. Or if you're walking here by this time, which you should be after 10:15, you feel rumbling beneath your feet. That's what's happening here. On the next blue line, we see some more earthquakes here. We see mostly tremors, by the way. Then on the next green line, we see tremors, minor earthquakes. But over on the right, far right here, 10:58, 10:59 a.m. this morning, I think we're seeing 3.0 earthquakes again here. 10:58, 10:59 this morning. At 11 a.m., all we see are tremors after that. But on the next red line, 10:15 on the left-hand side, all of a sudden on the red line here, okay, 11:18, 3.0 earthquakes. 11:19, 3.0 earthquakes. 11:20, 2.6, 2.7. Tremors. About a minute later, 50 seconds, a minute later, 2.2 earthquake. Then back up to late stages of 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes again. Over and over across the rest of this red line. Okay? That goes from about 11:20 through 11:29. Through 11:29. Then we pick up on the next blue line, which is 11:30 on the left-hand side. At the beginning of that, we have just tremors, tiny 1.1, 1.2 tremors. That builds up to 2.0 earthquakes, tremors again, 2.0 earthquakes. Then we go up to 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes again. Then more tremors here. Tiptonville, Tennessee this morning. Incredible activity, isn't it? What happened at Tiptonville, Tennessee this afternoon? Look at this. The seismic activity we saw this morning continued into this afternoon, guys. The northwestern part of Tennessee was rocking and rolling here. Not just in Tiptonville, Tennessee, but the outlying areas around Tiptonville, Tennessee. Rocking and rolling here. Anywhere from 2.0 on up to 3.0, 3.5 activity here. 3.0, 3.5 small earthquakes. Okay? Everybody for about 5 hours. Yes, 5 hours here. 5 hours. Felt 3.0 and 3.5 earthquake activity happening for 5 hours here. It finally calmed down according to the seismogram here about 5:57, or not 5:57, 5:12 this afternoon. That's when I pulled the seismogram. That's why I was pulling this so late. That's why I got on the air late. This is what was going on, guys. This is what's been happening. We have EMA family members living here in Tennessee and over Missouri and Arkansas. They told me they felt it shaking. I came on the seismograms, found them. Went and found them here. The New Madrid fault is alive and well here, guys. The New Madrid fault is alive and well here. Okay? Just like on the western side of the United States, the Cascadia earthquake is going to happen. The San Andreas fault is also alive and well. It's going to hit. It's going to hit, guys. I promise you that. Now, I'm going to take down the USGS map. The rest of this program is going to be devoted to all of you. All of you who live in the northwestern part of the United States. I'm going to show you all kinds of earthquakes happening in the Pacific Northwest today. Today, guys. Today. They're happening. They're happening. This is Mount Baker volcano just south of the Canadian border in Washington State. Mount Baker volcano. Look what's happening here, guys. Please bear with me what's happening here. 8 p.m. last night on the top line here. You see tiny tremors. You see all kinds of tiny tremors here. Then what happens as they constantly build up during the nighttime? What happens? Just after 2:20 a.m., the seismic energy builds up. Mount Baker, guys, of a volcano. A volcano here, guys. You see these thicker lines here. This is magma coming into the volcano here. Magma coming into the volcano. It's called magma pulse activity. Magma pulse activity. Okay? As the magma enters the volcano, you'll see the amount of magma here on these lines here. The thicker the line, the more magma coming into the volcano here. That continues all night long. From about 2:25, 2:26 a.m. this morning, all night and all morning long here. Look at this. 7:40 a.m., 8 a.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. it gets more active though. We start seeing earthquakes here at Mount Baker. We start seeing earthquakes here at Mount Baker. You're also told here that in Klamath Falls, Oregon, way south of there, we have a 2.0 earthquake in southern Oregon. Well, look at this, guys. All the way until 5:28, 5:29 this afternoon, we see the magma that's coming into Mount Baker, causing these earthquakes that you can see here on the seismograph. These up and down motions are earthquakes caused by the magma coming into Mount Baker here. That's what we're seeing. Okay? But that's not all, guys. That's not all. Let's go over to Belfair, Washington. Belfair, Washington here. Pulled down the seismogram here to show you 8 p.m. last night. In this case, we're seeing earthquakes happen here. Okay? 1.8 tremors, 2.0 earthquakes here. Okay? The spikes on each line here are actually earthquakes that happen here. Yes, we're seeing thicker lines here. Belfair is not a volcano though, but there is a magma channel headed to the volcanoes here. There is a magma channel under Belfair, Washington, where magma is headed for a volcano. That's why we see all the zigzag lines here. Tremors and minor earthquakes happening here. Tremors and tiny minor earthquakes here. All night, literally all night into this morning. Then what happens here this afternoon? What happens here this afternoon after 4 p.m. on the light blue line here? Earthquakes get larger, don't they? 2.0. Even 2.5 earthquakes start happening here. Look at that. These earthquakes are caused by the magma going through the magma channel underneath Belfair, Washington. That's what's happening here. Let me go to the next seismogram. I want to go to Ellensburg, Washington. The same thing is happening here in Ellensburg, Washington. But what you need to know about Washington is Ellensburg is a volcano down there. There is no crater. There's no cone sticking up out of the ground. Over years and years of weather, ice, glacial ice, this area was once underwater with an ocean. But before that, there was a volcano here, a crater and or a cone. But over the years, the craters and the cones got worn down by the water, by the glaciation, the movement of the glaciers, and by weather. Yes, by weather. Under Ellensburg, Washington right now, we're having tremors here. Tremors caused by magma underneath the ground here, going through magma chambers here. Magma channels here under the ground. Look at these earthquakes here. No, nobody's feeling these. These are too small. Way too small here. But they did happen here. They did happen here, guys. Again, we're seeing that same 2.0 earthquake in Southern Oregon here. Look what's happened here. Look what happened after 5 p.m. It may have actually happened before that, but each line here may have been a minor earthquake, a 2.0 minor earthquake. Not felt because it's tiny, not felt because it's too tiny, too small, but the magma is flowing through the ground here, shaking, causing earthquakes to happen, fracturing rock inside the magma chamber, in the magma channel here. Yes, that's what we're seeing here in Ellensburg, Washington. I'm not done. Not even close to being done. Let's go down here to Gerhardt, Oregon, near the western coast of Oregon here. The same thing here, guys. The same thing's going on. On the top left-hand line is 8 p.m. last night. Earthquakes caused by magma coming off the Pacific coast over here to the North American plate through magma channels headed towards the volcanoes. Look at that. Again, I believe these are just tremors. Tremors. From 1.0 to 1.8, 1.9 tremors, maybe even 2.0 earthquakes as we had in that other slide there. Okay? I don't believe any of this was 2.0 minor earthquakes, but this is definitely tremor activity. This is definitely tremor activity here. Gerhardt, Oregon. Western Oregon, guys. I'm not done. This is all over the place. Let's go up to Glacier Peak, Washington. Glacier Peak volcano. Here it is last night. This is the main seismogram, the main readout. It shows earthquakes happening at the volcano Glacier Peak. Yes, we're seeing all kinds of tremors here. Literally all kinds of tremors. We're also seeing some 2.0 earthquakes here as well, caused by magma going through the magma channels here at Glacier Peak volcano. In the magma chamber here, the magma's fracturing rock as it enters the volcano here. It's fracturing rock, causing earth movement inside the volcano. That's what's happening here. All night and all morning long. Then we get down here later in the morning, 9 a.m., just a tiny movement here. Over here on the right-hand side, we have maybe a 1.2, 1.3 tremor here. At 12, what would this be? It would be 12:56, 12:59 p.m. this afternoon. Because just after 1 o'clock, maybe 1:01, we have a 1.5, 1.6 tremor here. Then what happens here this afternoon? After about 5:35 this afternoon, 2.6 earthquake here. 2.6 earthquake here at Glacier Peak. A volcano, guys, a volcano. This earthquake was caused by magma going through the magma chamber of this volcano, fracturing the rock in the volcano, causing this earthquake. That's heavy-duty movement. That causes a lot of magma coming into this channel to cause that. Magma that's coming into this volcano is causing that big an earthquake. Nearly a small earthquake at Glacier Peak. One of the biggest earthquakes I've seen here at Glacier Peak in my 7 years plus doing this work I'm showing you here. Let me show you the seismogram from Glacier Peak that shows you magma coming into the magma chamber here. See these wavy lines here? These wavy lines in any volcano are called VLF waves, very low frequency waves, caused by magma entering the volcano, any volcano, in this case, Glacier Peak. Magma is coming into this volcano causing tremors. And at times, the magma gets even heavier. Again, the thicker the lines, more magma coming in the magma chamber. Then as we scroll through here, you see less and less magma there. As of about 8:30 this morning. The same thing holds true as we go into the morning hours here. After 1300 hours, which is 1:01 p.m. this afternoon, 2.3 earthquake there. Very light magma coming into the magma chamber here. You have very little VLF wave motion here, but it still causes a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake here. Then we continue here. Look at this, guys. Again, about 7:56, or not 5:56 p.m. this afternoon, 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. And before that, on that line at approximately 4:50 this afternoon, 2.6 earthquake there. Magma is causing these earthquakes at Glacier Peak. Magma coming into the volcano here is causing these earthquakes at Glacier Peak. Clearly, it's that happening. I'm not done. Let's go away from there a little bit to the southeast to Granite Falls, Washington. Look at this one, guys. Again, this is 8 p.m. last night. The thicker lines here shows magma coming into the magma chamber here. Through the magma channel, guys, this is not a volcano. Granite Falls is not a volcano. It's just a magma channel underneath the surface here. The surface of the earth we walk on, in the crust. Magma channels funneling magma over towards volcanoes here. The thicker the lines, more magma going into the magma chamber, through the magma channel here. All day long. As we go through the rest of the day, there's less and less magma here. Less and less magma. But you see little spikes here. Those spikes are tremors here. Tremors that are happening here at Granite Falls. Tremors that are happening here at Granite Falls, caused by the magma going through the magma channels here underneath Granite Falls, Washington. I've got more information, you guys. Got more information here. Let's look at Grays Harbor now. In the northern part of the Puget Sound, 8 p.m., very thin line here. Very thin line. Tiny, tiny tremors here. Then after 21:19 hours, 9:19 p.m. on the left-hand side. Okay, what do we have in here? About midway through the seismogram here, after 9 p.m., we have a 2.0 earthquake. About 4 minutes later, we have a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Grays Harbor, Washington. The Puget Sound guys. Think Cascadia. Think Cascadia, guys. The movement of the plates subducting under the North American fault here are real. The movement of the plates, the Farallon, the Juan de Fuca plate, going underneath the North American plate here, causing these earthquakes here. Grays Harbor, Washington. Let's continue here and show you what happened all day today. Till 8 a.m. this morning, 8:30, tiny tremors here. Continuing here. Still very small tremors here. And that's all the rest of the day here. That's what happened all the rest of the day. Late last night, 2.0, 2.5, 2.6 earthquake here. Grays Harbor, Washington. And yes, one of our EMA family members lives here in Grays Harbor, Washington. She's written me emails talking about feeling the pressure here that she's feeling here all the time. All the time. It's happening, guys. The Cascadia earthquake is happening. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Now, I want to go over here to Lopez Island, also in the Puget Sound. Lopez Island here. The same thing here. After 8 p.m., look what happened. Tremors, guys, all kinds of tremors. All night long. Some of those tremors even got larger here. You're not going to feel tremors here. It's too small. But it's happening here nonetheless. All night into this morning. Look what happens here this morning. The tremors here got larger, didn't they? A lot larger. A lot larger. All day long. I don't see any minor earthquakes 2.0 larger, but what I see here are tremors here at Lopez Island, Washington. This is in the Puget Sound. One more island here called Lumi Island. Or excuse me, Lumi Island. Lummi Island. Right here. Okay, these are earthquakes. Last night. After approximately 9:18 p.m. last night, 2.0 earthquake here. After 10:17 last night, 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. After 11 p.m. last night, 1.8 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here. 2 minutes later, 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. After 23:40, 23:44, 11:44, 1.9 tremor again. That's pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Then we come in here to the late morning. About 10:28 this morning. 2.2 earthquake. 2.2 earthquake here at Lonely Island. On the next line, on the left-hand side is 1040. So over here, we're talking about 1057. 1057, we have a 2.5 earthquake here. The next earthquake happens after 12 noon here. Actually, 12:20. This is about 20. This is 12:30 here. About 12:30 this afternoon. A 2.8 minor earthquake. 2.8, maybe a 2.9 earthquake. Minor earthquake there. After 2:40, 14:40 is 2:40. Come over here in the middle. This might be 2:51, 2:52 this afternoon. Tremor activity. 1.3 tremor activity. Then we come down here further on the next green line. This green line on the left is 4:20. Come over here to right, maybe 4:32. 2.0 earthquake here again. Lonely Island. The northern part of the Puget Sound. Earthquakes here. Earthquakes, you guys. Caused by subduction. The Farallon and the Juan de Fuca plate going up underneath the North American plate, which we live on, which we walk on. Okay? That's happening. It's happening. Now, I want to go now to Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier here. Okay? This is Camp Muir. Camp Muir, guys. There are 3 seismographs that I have recording data here at Mount Rainier. This is Camp Muir on the southern end of Mount Rainier. This is what we're seeing last night. Actually, this morning. This last night. Very little activity happening all night long. From 8 p.m. last night, 2000 hours, all night long to just after 8:30 this morning. Tiny tremors. Then all of a sudden this morning, at 11:40, the tremors get larger. The tremors get larger. On the green line after 1:20 p.m. this afternoon. 1:20 p.m. on the left-hand side. We go over to the right here. Now we're talking about about 1:38 p.m. this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake at Camp Muir on the southern end of the volcano, southern side of the volcano. Magma, guys, magma coming up into the magma chamber of this volcano is what is causing these earthquakes. Camp Muir, guys. That's what's happening here. But as you can see, the lines are thinner here, less magma here, and all you're seeing here are tremors. All you're seeing here are tremors. Let's continue here at Mount Rainier. I want to show you Emerald Ridge. Emerald Ridge is on the southwest side of the volcano. southwest side of the volcano here. All night long, guys, we have very little activity. Just tiny tremors here. Then later this morning, between 8:40 this morning and 9 a.m. this morning, we have some earthquakes. One earthquake larger than the other. We have some tremors. We have one minor earthquake. Then it appears we have a 3.0 small earthquake. Yes, I've told you there are small earthquakes at all of the volcanoes every day. This one was recorded here. 3.0 earthquake. And after that, a 2.8 earthquake after that. Then tremors, guys. Tremors after that. Tremors, minor earthquake, 3.0 small earthquake, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Then tremors here. Okay? About 8, I want to say probably 8:45, 8:50 this morning. Right here. All the rest of the morning quiet. All quiet this afternoon. Look at that. Very thin lines showing very little magma coming into the magma chamber here. Quiet. Quiet, guys. We have one 3.0 earthquake recorded at Emerald Ridge on Mount Rainier. The northwest side of Mount Rainier. I'm sorry, not northwest, southwest side of Mount Rainier, Emerald Ridge. Let's take a look at Camp Sherman on the north side of Mount Rainier. Camp Sherman on the northwest side of Mount Rainier. Right here. Last night after 8 p.m. Tremors. Tremors, guys. After 10 p.m., more tremors. But approximately 10:15 this morning, or 10:15 last night, a 2.0 earthquake. Then more tremors. About 1:23 this morning, we have another 2.0 earthquake. Then more tremors. Now, we come down here to 5:20 in this morning. 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. 2.4, 2.5 minor earthquake here. Camp Sherman, still early this morning. Then more tremors. More tremors late this morning, after 9 a.m. Then all of a sudden, about 9:07 a.m. this morning, we have a 2.4 earthquake. Then more tremors. Then about 10:23 a.m. this morning, 1.9, 2.0 earthquake. The north side of Mount Rainier. Then more tremors here. That's all that happened here. Minor earthquakes here, guys. Minor earthquakes. Mount Rainier. I'm going to show you one more seismogram here at Mount Rainier. Star. St. Andrew's Rock. St. Andrew's Rock here, which is west of Mount Rainier. Right here. This St. Andrew's Rock. Here at St. Andrew's Rock, early this year, we were seeing just not tremors, but minor earthquakes and small earthquakes as well. USGS was saying no, it didn't happen. It was because the antenna that was attached to the seismograph was relaying false information because the antenna had ice on it. No, that wasn't the cause. Because even after the ice melted at St. Andrews Rock, there were still 2.5 to 2.9, even 3.0 earthquakes happening here at St. Andrews Rock. But here today, it's clearly not showing that. From 2000 hours, 8 p.m. last night, until 5:45, 6 o'clock this morning, tremor activity, nothing, hardly anything. Lines here are very thin, meaning very little magma coming into the magma channel here, going towards Mount Rainier. Very little magma here. Then we come into late morning. 11:41, we have a tiny bit of magma, maybe 1.4 tremor here. 1.4 tremor here. And that's all we have. Until we get down here to just after maybe 5:44 this afternoon, 1.8, 1.9 tremor, that's it. St. Andrews Rock, guys, quiet, almost ridiculously quiet. Okay? I have some other volcanoes to show you as well. Hang tough with me for a second. Okay? I want to go down now, show you Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens. East Dome Mount St. Helens here. 8 p.m. quiet, tremor activity, tiny tremor activity. Then we come down here after 2:40 this morning. About 2:54 this morning. 2:54, maybe 2:55 this morning. All of a sudden we have a 2.9 earthquake here. 2.9 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. Recorded by the seismograph on East Dome of Mount St. Helens. East Dome Mount St. Helens here. Then more tremor activity. After about 6:56 a.m. this morning, maybe a 1.7, 1.8 tremor again. Here on this yellow line here. More tremor activity. Then we come over here late morning, after 10:20, 11 a.m., 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. All we have here are tremors recorded by the seismograph at East Dome Mount St. Helens. It's cool. It's cool. But guess what? It's not the only thing happening here. Let's go over and look at another seismograph that is sitting over just west of the East Dome Mount St. Helens seismograph. It's called September Lobe. September Lobe. This seismograph is sitting on legs on the volcano. Sitting on legs on the floor of the volcano. Okay? 8 p.m. Nothing but tremors. 9, 10, nothing but tremors. At about 1:17, 1.8, 1.9 tremor. Then we come after 2:40 this morning. 2:40 this morning on the left-hand side. Over here on the right, now we're about 2:55, 2:54, 2:55 this morning. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Again, this recording was made by the September Lobe seismograph. On to the right of that site, out to the right of that earthquake here, We have about 2 minutes of secondary quake activity. 2 minutes of seismic waves here. This was at least a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Could very well have been a 3.0 earthquake. Could very well have been a 3.0 earthquake, considering we have a full 1 or 2 minutes of secondary wave activity after the primary wave. Primary wave is that tall wave you see here. The secondary wave is that activity comes out after the earthquake hits, after the primary earthquake. The next activity happens after 4 a.m. this morning. Out here on the right-hand side, about 4:16, 4:17 this morning, we have a 2.4 earthquake. 2.4 earthquake here. Then more tremors. A lot more tremors. The next event was recorded after 6:20 a.m. this morning. On the right side, this is about 6:56, 6:57 this morning, 1.6, 1.7 tremor. Then we come in here late morning. More tremors here. After 4 p.m. this afternoon, more tremors. Okay. About 4:15 this afternoon, we may have had a 1.3, 1.4 tremor at best. At best. After 5 p.m. 1700 on the left-hand side, again, 5:14 p.m. this afternoon, 1.2, 1.3 tremor. On the next green line, on the left-hand side of that, we 5:20 p.m. Over on the right here, probably 5:38. More tremor activity here. D.D. Kins Victoria said, hi from Stockton, California. We had a sinkhole in Stockton, California today. 2 people died. El Dorado and Hammer Lane, I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about. They don't know what causes these sinkholes necessarily. Out there in Stockton, it could have been water undermining the roadway. Could have been fissure activity caused by earthquakes, caused by minor and small earthquakes out there in Stockton. The ground, let me take this side ground down from okay. That sinkhole could have been caused by water undermining the roadway. But we've had enough earthquakes out there in eastern Los Angeles, Stockton included, where small earthquakes could have also undermined that road. Small and minor earthquakes could have caused small fissures to open up, and those fissures getting larger and larger over time, and all of a sudden the road collapses. That might have been what caused that fissure to open up in Stockton, California. DD, thanks for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. Again, please, if you've been here for the first time, please subscribe to this channel so you get notified what happens. We cover earthquakes all the time. Okay? We talked about the new matter fault last night. Before that, the day before that, we talked about earthquakes in California, Southern California. Okay? Tonight we're talking about earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, Oregon, and Canada. Washington, Oregon, and Canada. I'm going to bring up this segment here from Mount St. Helens. I showed you earthquakes and tremors here. Earthquakes and tremors happening here at Mount St. Helens today. Ongoing. ongoing here, guys. Earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens last night here. Now, I'm going to continue on with another seismogram from Mount St. Helens at September Lobe. September Lobe is a multi-channel seismogram, or seismograph. Maybe I don't have that. Dadgummit, I thought I did. Shoot. Okay, I thought I did, but let me explain something here. Let me explain something. Let me take down the seismograph here. Some seismographs are multi-channel seismographs. In other words, they record all kinds of different information. The September Lobe seismograph at Mount St. Helens has a channel that records the magma that's coming into the magma chamber. It causes what they call VF waves. The magma coming into the magma chamber causes VF waves going like this, up and down like this. The greater the waves, the large number of waves, the more violent the waves that the seismograph is recording, is the more magma that's coming into the magma channel. I know for a fact because I saw it. Here at Mount St. Helens, the seismograph was recording a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Yes, all we saw here at Mount St. Helens were minor earthquakes. 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. That's at most. At most. But they happen. And they happen on a frequent basis. They happen on a frequent basis, guys. As I said before, each and every one of these volcanoes is having a 3.0 earthquake here. Both Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens are having tremors, minor earthquakes, and 3.0 earthquakes as well. Mount Rainier and Mount St. Helens are experiencing a lot of earthquakes. And as a result, it's my belief, and I'm sure the agencies agree, but they'll never say it, that these two volcanoes are getting to the point where they may erupt at some point in time. Maybe not today, not tomorrow, but they're getting to the point, again, where they may erupt. In the past 5 to 6 years, we've seen a lot of earthquakes at these volcanoes, lots of them. Lots of minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. We've seen 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes hitting Mount Rainier. We've seen 5.0 earthquakes, larger earthquakes hitting Mount Rainier, which could have caused an eruption. We know for a fact earlier this year. Mount Rainier erupted into a plume of ash. Ash coming out of the top of the volcano. Ash blowing its stack from the summit of the volcano. We know it happened because scientists have been up there and have seen ash at the summit of the volcano. They know it's happened. We've also seen some lahars going down the sides of the volcano. People seen those lahars going down the sides of the volcano. Several years back, about 3 or 4 years ago, on this program, I got video of it coming down. I obtained video of lahar coming down Mount Rainier, showing ice and snow coming off the mountain, falling down the side of the volcano, and at the time, USGS said nothing happened. Then later they had to admit that a lahar had happened, and one of the national park's roads were washed out by the lahar. One of the roadways around Mount Rainier was washed out by the lahar. Okay? Unreal. USGS can do all they want to do and say nothing happens, and yet when things happen, they deny it until the evidence comes out to prove it. Just like 3 or 4 years ago, over in the Kamchatka Peninsula area of Russia, a volcano there erupted. Shibuya volcano erupted. Shibuya volcano erupted. USGS said, oh, it did not. It erupted up to 45,000 feet high, then 65,000 feet high, up into the stratosphere. The ash and the toxic gases went up into the stratosphere. By the time USGS admitted that it happened, the ash and toxic gases had floated across the northern Pacific and the Baltic Sea and gotten over Alaska. The ash and the CO2 and SO2, the carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, had passed over the Baltic and the Pacific Ocean and went over into Alaska before the USGS even admitted that Shibuya volcano erupted. Unreal. They lie, they lie, they lie all the darn time. All the darn time, guys. This happens. This kind of stuff does happen. Okay? Now, I pretty much showed you everything going on except over at Mount Hood. Let me show you Timberline Mount Hood. Timberline is on the southern side, the southern lower side of Mount Hood. Okay? The Timberline seismograph is sitting on the lower side of Mount Hood, on the south side. Here you see an earthquake. An earthquake last night, about 12 or 10:42 last night. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake last night. Mount Hood. Incredible, huh? All the rest of the night into early this morning. Very quiet. Very quiet. What happened after 11 a.m. this morning? More and more magma started coming into Mount Hood here. You see thicker lines here. The magma pulse activity is continuing here. The thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma chamber. The thinner lines, less magma coming into the magma chamber of the volcano. Yes, guys, you are seeing tremors here caused by the magma fracturing the rock inside Mount Hood here, causing these tremors here. Then at just after about 4:50 p.m. this morning, or I'm sorry, not this morning, 4:50 p.m. this afternoon, maybe 4:49 this afternoon, we see some minor earthquakes here. Starts off with tremors, 2.5, 2.6, 2.6, 2.7, then back down to tremors again. Mount Hood, guys. Mount Hood. Incredible, huh? Mount Hood is active. Mount Hood is very active. Going up the side of Mount Hood, near the top side of Mount Hood is another seismograph. It's called the top of Palmer Lift. The top of Palmer Lift here. This is a ski resort on the southern side of Mount Hood. Last night, after 8 p.m., nothing. All quiet, even till early this morning. Then later this morning, we started having tremors here. tiny tremors here. Then what happened after 5 p.m.? The same thing that we saw at the timberline seismograph. Same thing, same time period. In this case, because this seismograph is located probably 1,000 feet higher than the timberline seismograph, we're seeing 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes here. Minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes. These earthquakes continued for about 3 minutes. 3, maybe 4 minutes. Mount Hood, guys. Mount Hood. North of Mount Hood, there's another seismograph at another location on the north side of Mount Hood. It's called Tom, Dick, and Harry. Tom, Dick, and Harry. In this case, 8 p.m. last night, 2000 hours, quiet. We start seeing some tremors occurring after 21:20 p.m. last night, 9:20 p.m. 9:40, we still see some more tremors, then it dies off again. Very tiny tremors, 1.0, 1.1 tremors happening here. Then later this morning, literally nothing. Until, guys, until approximately 12:30 this afternoon on the green line here. 12:30 this afternoon on the green line. In this case, we're seeing more green line on the top of the line than the bottom of the line. I don't know why, but it's there. This is a 2.8 minor earthquake. 2.8 minor earthquake. Then it's very quiet after that until after 5:20 p.m. this afternoon. 5:24, 2.4 earthquake. Just before it's 5:25, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Then another 2.9, 3.0 earthquake after that. This, that, Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay? Tom, Dick, and Harry seismograph on the north side of Mount Hood. Okay? That's what we're seeing. Now, unfortunately, guys, it's after 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not going to belabor this channel any longer. We've been on the air a long time now. Yes, I came on the channel after 6 p.m. tonight. I'm sorry about that. I found some information we had to tell you about. I felt obligated to bring it to you because it was pertinent. It was pertinent. It's pertinent to tell everybody about it because it causes people's loss of life. It can cause pain and agony as well. Okay? I want to tell you about it because it's happening. Ongoing. Every one of these volcanoes are getting to a point that they might erupt. Mount Hood to a lesser extent. Bachelor Mountain, Oregon, lesser extent. Newberry volcano, lesser extent. Citrus volcano, we have no record of. Why? Because the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network cut off the seismograph at Citrus volcano, totally cut it off. There was no evidence of anything going on at Citrus volcano. Now, guys, Citrus volcano is actually 3 volcanoes. 3 volcanoes at Citrus complex. Citrus North, Citrus Central, and Citrus South. 3 volcanoes, monitored by 1 seismograph. What I'm hoping they're doing is installing more seismographs at Citrus volcano complex. That would be optimum. That way we can tell what's going on. Bob Knobber's here. Thank you for being here, Bob. Thank you for being here. God bless you. Appreciate you here. Thank you for coming up in the chat. Now, guys, as I've said before, earthquakes happen. They happen for a reason. Yes, I believe the Cascadia earthquake is going to happen. probably within the next 5 years. A 9.0, 10.0 earthquake is going to happen off the coast of the Pacific Northwest, off the coast of Washington and Vancouver Island, British Columbia. It's going to happen. That earthquake is going to be felt all the way up in Alaska. It's going to be felt all the way down to northern Mexico. And then all the way across the entire United States. All the way across the United States. By the time it reaches northern Mexico, the energy that's going to expel all the way down there is probably going to be 6.5, 6.0 energy. Still a very strong earthquake. By the time the energy of that earthquake happens on the East Coast, the people on the East Coast may feel a 5.0 earthquake, a large 5.0 earthquake. That is how the energy is going to be dissipated over time, over miles. That earthquake is going to be so huge, it's going to be recorded by seismographs all over the world. It's going to be that huge. Major earthquake. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking, guys. I don't joke about stuff like that. It's going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. Now, tomorrow, we've run out of time. I'm not going to belabor the situation any longer. We've run out of time for the program tonight. But tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, we're going to come on the air. I'm going to show you seismograms from Mount Shasta volcano in Northern California and Mount Lassen volcano, also Northern California. The seismic energies there at both those volcanoes, we need to be worried about them. One of our own EMA family members, Heather, Hurricane Heather, lives under just east of of Shasta volcano. They're feeling the earthquakes around Shasta volcano right now. Right now, guys. So tomorrow evening, we're going to be talking about that. And if anything else happens tonight or tomorrow, we're going to be also talking about that tomorrow afternoon. We're also going to talk about emergency preparedness, saving lives after a very bad event happens. It doesn't matter whether it's an earthquake or not. Something could happen that could take people's lives or injure people. And I want to tell you what we can do to save our own lives. Save the lives of our family members, save the lives of our neighbors and friends. So please, guys, please share this program far and wide. Subscribe to this channel. Right next to the subscription button, there is a little bell icon. Click on that. After you subscribe, click on that little bell icon. There's going to be a drop-down menu of 3 items come up. Click on the word ALL all. That should get you notified when they come on the air. But be advised, YouTube does not always notify us when we come on the air. Doesn't even notify me when my buddy Mark Wages comes on the air with Wages World. He talks about the sun. Doesn't notify me all the time when Ryan Hall comes on the air with Ryan Hall, y'all. He's a weatherman and meteorologist. Does a darn good job of it. I have links to both their programs in the body, the middle of my program description, directly beneath this video today. Okay? Please join our program if you feel up to it. There's a subscription button in the top of the program description to join this program as a member of the EMA family here. Please do that. The smallest donation is $1.99 a month, $2 a month. The next one is $2.99, then $3.99, the highest level. If you join there as a member, we'd appreciate that as well. Helping keep this channel on the air. Also, please, you see our email locations going across the bottom of your screen. Go there and also send us donations to our program. We had a real good donation from a super chat when we first come on the air from Dee Dee. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for that donation. God bless you for that. We really appreciate your donation. Thank you for doing that, guys. We really appreciate that. No, it wasn't Dee Dee, it was Lisa. Lisa gave us that donation. Thank you very much for your donation. During our program, you can also give us super chats. I did not talk about that before we went on the air, but you can do that every day. We appreciate you all, guys. We really do. Usually I give you the devotion, but I don't want to do that because we're running out of time here, literally. I don't want to be on here at 10 p.m. tonight. But we're going to be on the air tomorrow just after 4 p.m. Eastern Time with another episode of Emergency Management Associates tomorrow evening. I'm hoping to be on the air about 10 a.m. Pacific Time with another episode of Members Only. So if you want to be a member of this EMA family, join the family now because I hope to be on the air at 10 a.m. in the morning. Wanted to do it this morning, but I hurt too bad. I had really bad back and really bad this morning. But hopefully tomorrow morning I'll feel better. And I'm going to have a members only meeting. So please be here for that. May God bless you tonight. God bless you and your family. Like I said, if anything happens tonight or tomorrow, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Till then, be safe, guys. Have a great night. Take care of each other. Love each other. May God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. See you soon. God bless.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. Complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard, So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better. Bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your help. Thanks for being with us. Have a good night. God be with you until we